I'm actually a little excited to talk about today's draconic subject, for there is a breed of lesser dragon I am always happy to see, and those are the drakes. They are the good boys of dragonkind, and it's not just me who thinks this way. Many dragons truly love to keep smaller drakes, the same way we do dogs. And it makes a lot of sense, since their anatomy is very much on par to dogs. They have long bodies and 4 legs, and absolutely no way of flying. There are actually many different types of drake. You might even go as far as to say that they're their own subgenus of dragon entirely. But in reality, they aren't that different from each other in order to justify this. And some of them can be very bizarre too. I'm going to be more so listing the different types of drakes today than explaining individual ones. So, starting with the most common type of drake, you have the humble guard drake, and they really are just large dragon dogs. They can be used to guard places, as the name would be imagined, and are found almost exactly where the dragons are. See, like kobolds, they tend to flock to the dragons of the same colour. A green dragon, for example, will have many green kobolds flock to their location, as well as green drakes. Although they don't do this together, it's all sort of a mutual thing. These guard drakes tend to look a lot like the dragon they flock to. They will usually have the same fins and horns, and as well as elemental connections. Minus the wings, of course, the only way you could actually really tell one apart from a dragon youngling. They might not actually be controlled or tamed by the dragon. They could just be wild creatures that dwell within their domain, but most dragons tend to exploit all within their domain. The drakes are no exception. And those dragons that are quite likely to aid and equip their subjects are also going to do so with their drakes, with the exception that the drakes will be a lot more common among the dragon's allies than their own people. See, many humanoid kingdoms actually have guard drakes, and that's because they were gifted to them by a dragon they are aligned to. People also tend to breed these drakes, so it's quite common to see them everywhere, even to those places that are not aligned to said dragons, but you can always trace its lineage to a dragon that gifted it. But I would just like to note that for every natural breed of guard drake, there is a true dragon associated with them, even more obscure ones. This goes far beyond the basic chromatic, metallic, and gemstones. A deep dragon, for example, might have drakes under their command, or just living within their lands. Even outer planar ones could have drakes as well, although this is a lot more rare, and given where outer planar ones sometimes dwell, near impossible. Another thing to note about guard drakes is that they bond with the first thing they see upon hatching. This bond lasts until they are fully mature, and in the wild it is almost always their mothers who protect them. This also makes them the ideal pets and guardhounds that you would expect, really. Many breeders make sure that they are there for the hatching of the drakes so that they can raise them properly. If eggs are ready to hatch, they probably won't even let anyone else close to them. And the last thing that I'd actually like to note about the guard drakes is that they are the breed that all other drakes truly come from. See, like dogs, you can selectively breed them, and given the draconic blood, these changes take effect much faster than with normal dogs. Most other breeds of drakes are actually results of selectively breeding guard drakes, sometimes with other colours, in order to get what you want from them. Think of the guard drake as the wolf, and every other type of drake as specific dog breeds. Now, with that in mind, there is a massive myriad of drakes I could talk about. Really, I could be here all day talking about specific breeds of drake, but that would be way too long and be kind of tedious since a lot of them can be quite similar at times, so I'd like to just show you a few with a wide variety on how they can take effect. So to get started, I'd like to speak of one breed that was bred specifically by dragon cultists. The ambush drake was bred from green guard drakes initially, but I would also suspect that some black drake is involved, given they are much more aggressive and their hue is darker. As the name would imply, they were created to act as stealth hunters and killers, the perfect companions to assassins that can rip foes apart before making any noise. They are quite apt at climbing, even man-made structures will not stop them, and although they will leave marks and maybe destroy the scenery, they won't make much noise. Some have trusted them enough to go in alone once the target has been made clear to them. and since they naturally travel in packs and are efficient hunters, that's quite wise. And even if you don't want them to attack their target clearly, they still have a poison as to their nature. It is quite different to the green dragons, however, for it is a liquid and not a gas. Unlike the true green dragon, it is nowhere near as potent, merely able to sicken their foe if it is directly ingested. Another breed of drake I want to discuss is the war drake, a much rarer breed that can come from any color of dragon. They are enormous compared to the other breeds, getting as large as a young adult dragon. These monsters have been bred for battle, as is clear by the name. They are much larger, able to serve as mounts for potentially multiple riders. Some other drake can have maybe one person ride them, but nowhere near to the destructive scale that these guys are capable of. Many reptilian humanoids use this breed instead of more conventional mounts, and that makes perfect sense. I have even heard that some are capable of using the same breath weapon as the dragons of the same name, though it tires them out much, much more. And a more worrying fact about them is that they are a lot less, shall I say, agreeable, resulting in some of them breaking free and becoming wild, making some poor adventurers thinking that there is a dragon on the loose nearby very confused, I'm sure. Another breed I wish to speak of are the ones that were bred in order to repel a demonic invasion. See, these demonic incursions can just happen from time to time, and once a group of elven wizards was the target of one of these attacks, and so they used dragon blood to repel them. It's unknown how, but they ended up making what is now known as the Fell Drake. They are fierce, loyal, and supposedly good at heart. There are actually many different breeds of Feldrake, most of which tend to have the same common traits personality-wise, but in combat, they all fill very different roles. For example, some of them are known to leap vast distances to get surprise attacks, others spit acid from afar that can dissolve even the most sturdy of walls, and some are just really big and strong. These breeds can also be found anywhere now, but are still much more common within elven lands, and are to some considered natural there. And the last breed of drake I wish to discuss is actually quite a humorous, bizarrely helpful, and kind of cute one. The alehouse drake is, well, it gives away exactly why it exists in the name. See, despite how small this drake is, and I mean it is small, some are tiny enough to fit into your hands, they actually have a breath weapon, and it intoxicates you. But that's not the reason that many pubs want them. The reason is because they can actually produce ale, akin to another breath weapon, so to speak, although it's not really a weapon, is it? And it is said that no two alehouse drakes' ale actually tastes the same. See, despite it actually being a sort of bile, it is in many ways actual alcohol, and is perfectly safe to drink. Well, it's as safe as alcohol is to drink. It is a poison after all, but people want it. I could go on and on about drakes, but a lot of them tend to step on the same ground. I think I've given a wide enough variety for you to understand what drakes are truly capable of. But a common point I'd like to make is simply this. Every kingdom, realm, or maybe even district will have their own type of drakes, if they have them at all. Like dogs, some have been bred for specific reasons, and some are just pedigree, but you can find them beyond where they initially came from. Some are from certain regions and are found commonly there, some can be seen in other planes of existences, but most of them can be found near dragons of the same type, when they are natural, that is, and close to none of them have anything in common with each other than their shape. They can be found in the arms of an old lady, acting like a little lapdog, or skulking the lowlives of an underground city with assassins. Really, they are limitless creatures of wonder, something I highly recommend anyone gets. Thank you for listening to my tales. I am the Ashspawn. Feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. But, till next time, fellow traveller, have a good day.